Once again, I'm giving Slovenia some free advertising. Come and see the beautiful nature and get some fresh air. Possibly with a Renault Kadjar.
We're in the forest. Renault has been recently, if I don't get eaten in the next 5 minutes, been upgrading their engines, or, well, making new ones. The 1.3 liter petrol one, which I would have to say is excellent. We've tested it in various versions with various horsepowers. And now the 1.7 liter diesel, which we've tested in the Nissan Qashqai, but now is also available in the Renault Kadjar. And this one has the 4x4 drive, so this should be quite interesting. As far as this color goes, I have to say I really like it. It looks good, it looks, well, nice. A lot of people have noticed the car because of it, I think. And why would you buy 50 Shades of Grey if you have stuff like this available? And now it's time for me to act like a popular YouTuber. So check this out, guys, you know what's going on? I've got something really amazing here. I really have to show you. Look at this, amazing. It's a completely new camera, which we'll be using to record all the videos from now on, probably. Was that good? No? Okay, never mind. Anyway, the cameraman back there, well, he has a company which does with all sorts of stuff, but also has those KT tape type things that you can buy, so we can pay for this camera. So basically, he's a sponsor now.
The Kadjar is an SUV that's not boring to look at. They made some interesting features and lines both front and back. The interior is something we already know by now. A digital instrument in the center, an infotainment screen without any physical buttons, and climate controls which house tiny screens. And because the test model has all-wheel drive, here is the button that controls that system.
Who would have thought? It's almost November and it's 26 degrees outside. It's quite hot. Before we actually drive and talk about this engine, I would like to address one issue or question, which is why? A lot of people often say, I don't want a more powerful engine. Why would I want it? It costs more, it's not going to be as economical as a less powerful engine. I just want something that will bring me from A to B every day and not cost me a lot. To which I say, yes, that's true. But having more power is nice because it's available. Because if you need it suddenly, you're not left with your whatever engine you chose, which is not as powerful, and you're thinking, I wish I had more power every now and then. But think about it this way. A more powerful engine, while you most of the time might not need all of the power that it offers, will make you smile more in your life. Let me explain. If you have a nice house, you probably also want a nice garden or yard. So let's say you pick out, or your wife picks out, a very nice tree. It doesn't really add anything, you don't really need it, but every time you'll come home, whether in a good or bad mood, you'll look at this tree and say, that's really nice. I like that. And it's the same as this engine. Most of the time, you won't need the power. But once you do, it's nice. It's nice to have. You won't think, I wish I chose the other one. So yeah, I think you should buy the more powerful engine. Because the Renault Kadjar is a slightly bigger SUV, I also think that this more powerful engine suits it more. It's nice not to be stuck in traffic just because you don't have the power and the acceleration to overtake a slow truck or tractor or whatever it might be. And the interesting thing is, this engine, the 150 horsepower one, the 1.7, which is replacing the 1.6, is mated to the 6-speed gearbox, the manual gearbox, because this one has the 4x4 four-wheel drive. So what that means is that I suspect, just like in the Dacia Duster, the first gear is really more of a crawl gear than not, because it's super short. And that's kind of the odd thing about this. The gear shifter is fine, although it does have quite a long travel. But the actual gearing is very short, I find, especially for a more powerful engine like this, which means that even in 6th gear, on the motorway, you'll be almost touching 3,000 RPM at the speed limit, which I think is too much, especially because now you have more power with this engine. And that directly translates into consumption. I was actually both surprised in both pleasantly and not. Pleasantly because it can be quite frugal, despite the large chassis and the more powerful engine. Yes, I know. My best average consumption was 4.7 liters per 100 kilometers. I was never able to get back to that now. I'll explain that in a bit. But 4.7 in a larger SUV like this with 150 horsepower diesel, that is really good. And 4x4. I'm constantly in two-wheel drive, but I am lugging all of that extra weight and the parasitic loss of the 4x4 gearbox. Oh, sorry about the sun over here. You're probably being blinded. That's not a good thing. But anyway, on the highway, I got all the way up to 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not really very good. And because this engine has much more power, I really think at least 5th and 6th should be a lot longer gears than they are. It's a bit of an odd choice on Renault's part here. Probably cost saving, so they don't have to develop a separate gearbox for it. So as far as acceleration is concerned, I would almost say that you should consider this as your base engine. So if I start from almost a standstill in first, let's see, going all the way up to, well, almost 5,000, it does lose a bit of oomph there. There we go, 90. I mean, it doesn't make this car a racer or anything, and it's not really designed to be, but it's not sluggish either, far from it. So I really think this engine should be the base one you should be considering, especially because of the truly surprising lower end of the average consumption, which is funny because, you know, it has a much lower consumption driving normally in a city than it does on a motorway. But the thing that perhaps strikes me the most with this engine and this combination of the car and 4x4 is really practicality and versatility. It's a practical enough car that you have a lot of space in the back. There we go, 4th, full throttle, 90 from 50. A couple of times I folded the back seats and I completely filled the car with carton boxes that I had to get rid of. So there is quite a bit of space in the back once you do that. So it's practical. It's got 4x4 if you opt for it, of course, which is also very nice if you use it to, I don't know, go to your weekend house that might be somewhere up in the hills, or maybe it snows a lot there. And then again, like I said, you have enough power to make you smile a little bit every now and then, and not to make you think, oh, I wish I had more power. And it's also surprisingly economical. I know I'm repeating myself, but I am truly surprised. The average consumption right now of all these 150-ish kilometers is 5.4. 5.4, and I was on the highway for about 70 kilometers of those, doing about 130 to 140. So if you stay away from highways mostly, this is perfect. If you do a lot of highway driving, then why are you thinking of an SUV anyway? But yeah, definitely you would be better off with something that has longer gears.
The base Kadjar with the new diesel engine starts at 30,500 euros and is only available with a manual gearbox and all-wheel drive. The top-of-the-line model with all the extras comes up to 34,000 euros.